Welcome to Books in Sum, your go-to for bite-sized book summaries.
The Behavior Gap by Carl Richards. Financial planner Carl Richards witnessed the effects of the behavior gap, the divide between our ideal selves and our actual selves. The gap emerges from our irrational pursuit of pleasure and avoidance of pain. In order to narrow the gap, it is necessary to look back at unexpected developments like the dot-com bust, the housing bubble, and the debt crisis of 2008, and apply the lessons learned from those events to the present. These occurrences highlight the need for cautious investment that avoids the pitfalls of boom and bust cycles. The key takeaways from this text are the lessons learned by the hedge fund Long-Term Capital, whose managers include 2 Nobel laureates, and the significance of basing financial decisions on one's own values and priorities. To put it another way, there is no such thing as the best investment because nobody knows how their money will perform in the future. You shouldn't evaluate financial products based on whether or not they are unicorns, but rather on how well they help you achieve your goals. Open a 529 plan or invest in mutual funds at least 18 years before your child's college enrollment to help pay for their education. Do not put your money into them if they do not help you. Don't listen to the standard financial advice you hear in the media. Think things through on your own. The vast majority of suggestions are broad in scope and may not be applicable to your unique circumstance. When it comes to money, the advice that works for you could spell disaster for someone else. Most so-called expert advisors also have a tendency to be biased. Once you've honed your ability to identify bad advice, you'll be in a better position to seek out useful guidance. It is crucial to your financial plan that you take the time to examine your motivations, skills, and weaknesses. There is a limit to how much contentment money can buy, and beyond that, it's just a means to an end. Earnings have less of an impact on contentment than do hopes and dreams. Happiness is only correlated with income up to a level of $75,000 per year, according to a recent study by Nobel Prize winner Daniel Kahneman and Princeton professor Angus Deaton. That most people place an excessive amount of importance on money matters. Knowing oneself and directing one's resources in accordance with one's values is essential for making sound financial decisions. Instead of monitoring economic trends, David Brooks argues, governments should check to see if their social programs and institutions actually make people happier. People can make better financial decisions if they focus less on money and more on what they want out of life. When we agree with the majority, we feel more secure, and the mainstream media often promotes this herd mentality. The subprime mortgage crisis of 2006 and the subsequent 57% drop in stock prices from their October 2007 peak show, however, that going along with the crowd can be extremely risky. Don't be a fool and go along with the crowd. Put nothing the media says into consideration. There is so much noise in the media these days that it's impossible to sort through and find the stories that actually matter. The Economist's America's Back headline is just one example of media misinformation. In 2010, The Economist published an article titled America's Back, but their forecasts went wrong, and the economy contracted once more. Be more aware of what's driving all the news and rumors, and worry less about money to combat this financial misinformation. To plan effectively, you must act in the present, rather than speculating about the future. To plan effectively, you must act in the present, rather than speculating about the future. What are some strategies for coping with unexpected events like these in a volatile financial market? Simply make small adjustments on the fly to keep moving toward our monetary objectives while adapting our strategies to new conditions. Let's say you're the pilot of a plane flying from Los Angeles to Miami. If you wander even a little from your intended path, when the key takeaways from this material are that you need to pay attention to where you are and make minor adjustments to your trajectory if you want to reach your financial goals. To invest rationally, one must be forthright, dispose of unused holdings, and invest solely in line with one's own objectives. While feeling emotions is part of being human, letting them influence your financial decisions can have serious consequences. Avoid letting your emotions guide your financial decisions by being truthful with yourself, taking the overnight test, and making sure the choice could help you achieve your personal goals. It is also important to accept responsibility for the outcomes, since investing always requires us to make decisions in the midst of uncertainty, even if the rational decision does not have the expected outcomes. Most importantly, this text emphasizes the significance of constantly questioning taken for granted assumptions about the factors that truly affect one's financial well-being. When discussing financial matters with loved ones, it's also important to keep personal biases in mind and work toward finding a common language. One of the author's acquaintances, for instance, thought that if he dressed well and drove a BMW, that would automatically make him more successful. He should have instead worked hard to advance in his field. Finally, it's crucial to have frank discussions about financial matters with loved ones in order to clear up any confusion. Two of the most salient points made in this text are that it's important to talk about money with loved ones even if doing so is unpleasant, and that sophistication can be achieved through minimalism. In the realm of money, too, simplicity can bring us closer to our goals while complexity can cause us to stall. People spend $40 billion annually on weight loss programs, for instance, despite the fact that self-help methods work best. Putting off satisfaction and working steadily toward a goal are effective strategies for resisting the allure of instant gratification. This strategy calls for a patient accumulation of capital rather than a pursuit of immediate gratification. Stanford began a 10-year study of people's ability to delay gratification in the 1950s, and they found that people who were successful at doing so had more long-term success than those who were unable to resist temptation. This frugal strategy has the potential to yield substantial gains in the long run. Keeping an open mind and carefully weighing all relevant factors can help us avoid the behavior gap. One piece of advice that can be put into practice is to review one's financial situation on a monthly basis in light of one's personal goals. If one of your personal goals is to buy a motorcycle in the next 6 months, a bank account is probably preferable because of its lower volatility and greater convenience. But if you want to put money away for your kids' college, stocks are probably the way to go because of the higher returns they provide.
We hope you found this summary helpful in your listening journey. If you're interested in diving deeper into the topic or getting your hands on the whole book, be sure to check the description below where we've included links to the book and other related products that may be useful to you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay updated on our latest book summaries. And feel free to leave a comment with any suggestions or requests for books you'd like us to cover. Thanks again for tuning in and happy listening.